Welcome back to Super Sentai Review, episode number 44. This one discussing episodes 18 to 19, 8 to 10. Now, I kind of got wrong, basically, the order. Well, the Denziman backstory was explained in episode 7, not 6, and 6 was the one with the girl. I kind of got it wrong. My mistake. Okay, now in the case of these three episodes, the first one basically is like, oh, let's just turn everybody old so they can turn to dust quickly. Okay? So they send this guy called Filmler. He sets up a theater, and here's something weird. Now, they kind of reuse the same plot for episode 10. Like, oh, look, a group of kids. Oh, look, a movie theater. In a place used to be a hamburger shop. When the heck that they took time to set this up, do not know. And just by sheer coincidence, Denshi Blue was just happily there. Yep. So they go inside. Says, okay, we'll see this movie and go straight to karate practice. And the kids are like, good idea. So they go in, and did they get to the action theater itself? No. And then we see the Filmler's human form. Here's something interesting, though, about the actor who portrays him. Yes. Let's see if I can find him here. This guy is played by an actor by the name of Mr. Ando. Who is this guy? Well, he was the original actor who played the Black Cross King. And you're thinking, Black Cross King, as in the original, as in the very first Super Sentai main villain? Yes, apparently he went through two different actors for some reason. And this guy was the original actor. And here's something really weird, though, about this when it comes to this guy. Aside from playing Black Cross King and this one character, he never played any other character in Super Sentai in the main series. And you're thinking, really? Yeah, really. And this guy was only like, well, I would say probably, but look at he looked like he was probably in his 70s when he was probably 69 when he passed away. Now, why the heck did they replace him after like 55 episodes? Oof. Do not know. It's kind of weird. No, I've never heard of the explanation of why this actor was replaced. So yeah, so he basically aged up Denziman Blue's group of kids. So they go confront him again, and well, they have basically, well, except Denziman Blue, they everyone else morphs into Denziman, use their boomerangs to take out the monster, and go film reverse. And everybody who turned old, they're back normal. And then he goes a little bigger, like after running away, he's able to go like turn a lot of people in Tokyo old, like a group of kids. He's basically scared a bunch of people, turning them all old, and becomes kind of an epidemic in a way. Yes, where everybody's turning old, and then Denziman do finally catch up to him after chasing him to, of all places, a movie set of all things. And I find some wrestlers, and he brings out one of those old, like, I've seen these things, like, it's a little thing you pull out to, like, take one, take two, and what is it? He puts on the camera, he says, okay, now Denziman, let's go to Western, and have all 5 Denziman dressed up as cowboys. What Denziman dressed up as a cowboy, they poke fun of, like, many Western tropes. Like, oh, let's have a standoff, or, let's shoot everybody out, which I thought was so funny. And then they go, period piece. Everybody become freaking samurai. Everybody's got a freaking katana and slices up the Dustlers, which I think is so funny. And then sports, where you have all five dress up as football players and playing football. And here's the thing, Denshi Pink is wearing an old Dolphins uniform, which I don't know if that was Dolphins uniform from the 80s, but wow, that was so funny. And he's like, he kept saying, no good. So switch up and last like, okay, back to Denziman, beats the monsters. And of course, he gets hit and he goes to go giant size. And, oh yeah, by the way, his thing is like shoots out film. That's his weapon, freaking film. And his like little sword, which is actually his little take one, take two. Yep, he uses it as an actual weapon against, well, the Denshi fighter. And after a not exactly a very anticlimactic battle. It's a pretty, little bit longer sequence than usual. And they beat him. No problem. Episode 10 is a very similar case. Except involving turning people old. Let's just basically have them eat sludge disguised as hamburgers. Our hamburger. Yes. Kids eat them. And they won't eat anything else but them. There's even this weird thing where they just refuse to eat anything else but these particular hamburgers. And have one of the kids basically bathe in sludge bath. I'm like, what the heck is this? This is so weird. Then, of course, well, Denji Blue gets a chance to, once again, he gets involved in this, so he eats only this stuff. And he's taking, like, it goes back to the health club, still doing anything, goes on a rampage. They take it back Denziland. So Icy is like, stop screwing around. Of course, when they had the Vader monster on the loose, use Denzi's shower on him, and they do it, and he's just straight back normal. They're able to fight him off, and he's like, "How dare you do this to me?" Then they beat them, and then of course he's Denzi on the kids, and that's it. Kids turn back normal, and that's it for that one. Yep. Everybody thinking, okay, what about episode 9? This was a pretty dark episode. Yes. Also, by the way, episode 10 is the first time in the series that General... how do you pronounce this guy's name? Hederer actually battles the Denziman briefly at a freaking school. Which, that was cool. I like the fact he had a chance to finally fight them. 10 episodes in, like, okay. Yep. Yeah. That was by far the coolest moment of the whole episode, was him transforming in the middle of a school, which is probably, once again, he still doesn't want to see him setting on earth soil. Like, he doesn't want to set foot on the ground. He likes to be, oh, let's see him appear in a building, let's hear him riding in a car. How about actually stand on freaking soil? I mean, at least in the case of his 2 hench girls, at least they actually do it. In the case of actually, he does kind of do it in this one, where he basically walks inside of a building. So, the plot of this one is this, episode 9, where he had this painter who's been rejected. He's been rejected many times over the course of 3 years, all because his paintings. I mean, they show his paintings. His paintings are not that bad looking, except that they're very violent, very dark imagery. I kind of get the reason why they turned him down, because probably because they want to put this stuff in an art museum. It made people very depressed seeing this stuff. So General Heather is like, "Hey, I want to buy your painting for 100,000 yen." Now, how much is that in U.S. currency? Let's see. That is approximately $912.68. I'm like, okay. let's see, how much is 10 yen? Barely a dollar. Like, yeah, that's like really dirt cheap. Mm-hmm. Yep. So, buys the painting, and what does he do with the money? Well, he wants to buy. He takes Dan's the painting out to lunch. He's like, okay, why don't you use that Makita money and buy your sister a piano? And he does it. Yep, he does. Oh, by the way, he has a connection. He has a curse to people who dare reject his paintings. Calls the first guy up. The guy says, hello, and he responds, go to hell, go to hell, go to hell. That is seriously what the guy says. And the guy gets consumed by the telephone monster. Yes, a telephone monster. That's your villain for this one, a freaking telephone monster. I'm like, that's different. By the way, the hamburger, he's a food monster. So you have a film monster, a telephone monster, and a food monster who basically is the shape of a freaking hamburger. How they wake him up is that comes out of the hamburger, dip in oil, turns to an egg, hatches. That's what he has for him. So he pretty much proceeds to suck up the artist and presumably killed him. He does the first two. Calls the second guy up next night. Does the same thing. And does it and of course, then Denziman catch on like, oh, 2 artists got killed. 2 of the top 3 artists. So they protect the third one. And they figure out, though, that the painter that Denzai Pink ran into, turns out he's technically the one doing the curses, but not the one doing the killing, per se. Eventually, the painter himself is killed by the end of the episode, and his little sister is left, well, to live with her uncle. And the monster itself is eventually defeated. Though how to defeat this one is quite hilarious. He transforms into a giant telephone, and then he basically gets slashed with a moon slash, which I think is quite funny. And his weapon is simply a phone receiver. Yes, act like a freaking bow staff. I'm like, that's interesting. Yeah. I think the monsters are quite interesting for this one. I love the way they look. It's so interesting. And the fact the plots are just so hilarious. Though I think it's kind of weird that in just a span of 2 of 3 of these episodes, we're pretty much retreading the same plot. Just brainwashing kids. And have a Denzi Blue first turn old man. Then he basically acts like he only eats one thing. This very strange hamburger. By the way, they even do like a campaign. Yes, a campaign where they go around Tokyo in a food truck. Now, this is not a typical food truck you think of basically here. Oh no, it's simply a van. Yeah, seriously. They even have their armored vehicles like this too. No joke. This is probably late 70s. I'm not like late 70s, early 80s. I'm not sure what it is today, but I think that's kind of weird. Like he transfer money in a van, not in a not like a thing that's basically like a boat on wheels. Yeah, and by the way, like this is probably before the adventures a bit where they have bulletproof vests. Like nowadays, if you see any of these guys who transport money with armored trucks, these guys come basically fully armed to teeth. Like the guys got body armor on and they carry guns and tasers. That's how they are today. But in the case of these episodes, they're interesting at best. I'd say in the case of the 3 of them, like the first one feels like a bit of an epic scale one, kind of like the way it was with episode 7. Though not as bad as that one was, but kind of like that, but a bit of a smaller scale. 9 was a purely dark episode, and 10 was... The best way to describe that one is just... Well, let's basically have a food thing. It's almost like the writer of the episode really doesn't like fast food. That's what it seems like. But 8 was just pure fun. I love that one, especially the whole like homages to actual movies. Yep. Anything disliked with these episodes? I would probably say the only thing that we're still not seeing is Header on the actual soil. Still not seeing it. He's seeing outside buildings, rides out vehicles, but actually walking on the soil, nope, I haven't seen him do that yet. Don't know why though. But it's a minor gripe at best. Also, Queen Handler has never been signed for base, which that's interesting to say the least. Yeah. But not much else to say about these 3 episodes. So yeah, that's it for Cycle. I'm going to do one more Super Sentai review tonight, and I'm going to call it Night for Videos, where I'm going to discuss episodes 11 to 13, and then I'm going to take a break from Super Sentai for a bit to start up a new anime. You'll find out what I'm going to discuss when I do the next video, okay? Next video. Bye.